strawberries and cream crepe cake from the European Cake Cookbook. I love this cookbook. It's by Tatyana, Nesteruk, who got started on social media as well. And they go over all the different regions of Europe with a whole bunch of different cakes from North, South, West, Central, and Eastern Europe. So there's Austrian cakes, there's Norwegian cakes, there's British cakes, there's Spanish cakes, Italian cakes, all the way to Polish, Russian, Ukrainian. Just every region is covered, and so I highly recommend you pick this up. Every single time, every single recipe I've made from this book has been really good. This is something that I get asked to make constantly by everyone I know. It is just, the strawberries and cream flavor is just a classic. It's French with the crepes, and usually I can get 18 layers in this cake. So you'll see when I cut it later, but it's just so good, y'all. It's not that hard to make either. That's the thing. It is a little time intensive making so many crepes and then making a filling and just assembling it all, but there's nothing difficult. Absolutely anyone can make this at home if you have even just a modicum of cooking skill. So we're gonna go ahead and hop into the kitchen and get started to show you how to make this. To begin, we're gonna make a simple crepe batter. So we started with 8 large eggs, and now we're gonna add 4 cups of milk. And then a 1/4 cup of sugar. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then we're just going to use our whisk to whisk all this together until we get a smooth mixture. Now we're going to add 2½ cups of all-purpose flour to this mixture. And once again, we're going to blend it until it's smooth and there's no flour lumps anywhere in it. The last ingredient we're going to add to our batter is 1/2 cup of melted butter, and you want to make sure you get this stirred in immediately so that the butter doesn't re-solidify before it incorporates into the rest of the liquid. Once this butter is mixed in, it's going to form a very springy batter, but we want this to rest to let all of these ingredients really absorb each other and come together for about 10 minutes before we start making crepes. Now we're going to make the crepes, so make sure you have a thin layer of oil on your crepe pan and put about 1/4 of a cup of batter for each crepe. Take it off the heat for just a second to roll it around and get a uniform distribution of batter. And these are going to go really quick before they're ready to flip because this is not a lot of batter and the crepes are somewhat thin. All right, you can see it's starting to brown here on the edges, which means it's ready to flip. So, look at that, beautiful crepe. Will not take as long to cook on the other side, so we're just going to let this go. And if you mess up a couple of these, that's fine. I find they're like tortillas where the first 1 or 2 are not great. And then you can sort of get the hang of it, and it goes much smoother from there. So we're just going to continue making crepe layers until we run out of crepe batter. To make the filling for the crepe cake, we're going to begin by putting 2 sticks of softened unsalted butter in the middle of a large bowl. And then we're going to take an 8-ounce package of cream cheese, also softened, and put that in as well. And now we're just going to use our wooden spoon to mash all this up together until we get a nice creamy uniform mixture. Now we're going to add a can of sweetened condensed milk to this mixture. As well as a little bit of vanilla extract. And just a pinch of salt. I happen to have some vanilla salt that was gifted to me, which is perfect for desserts. Just a little pinch. And now, once again, we're going to mix all of this up until it gets incorporated. Now, in the bowl of a stand mixer, we're going to whisk 2 cups of heavy cream until we get to the point of stiff peaks. All right, and the last step for making the filling is to add the whipped cream to the rest of the mixture. And then we're just going to whisk all that together, and that will be the final filling that goes in between the layers in our crepe cake. Now, to assemble the cake, a springform pan like this is super helpful. And we're just going to put a crepe down on the bottom layer. And the reason it's really helpful is that the bottom of this is actually going to end up being the top of the cake as we go here. So, go ahead and get that down. Then we're just going to take a dollop of our filling and just go ahead and get that spread all the way around. And once you've got it spread all the way around, then we just grab another crepe and we just continue the process of adding layers of alternating crepes and filling. It's strawberry season here in Florida right now, so that's why I decided to make this recipe. But every 3 layers of cake, you want to go ahead and put in some sliced strawberries before you add on the next layer. There we go. I've finished adding the strawberries in layer 3. And so we just move on to layer 4. And I just continue adding layers until I either run out of an element. So I either run out of crepes, or I run out of filling, or I run out of strawberries. And I just keep going to see how high I can make it. So I'm going to continue adding the layers to this cake, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when I'm done. So I have finished adding the layers, and now I've got this cake stand, and we're just going to use that to sort of press down and then flip this cake over. And now we can remove our spring mold. And look at all those beautiful layers. Look at that. That is just gorgeous. I cannot wait to have this later. Look at that. That's just crazy good. So, what I'm going to do now is to garnish this cake. I'm going to add the last of the cream cheese filling as a layer on top. And now I'm going to add a ring of strawberries just layered on top of each other all the way around. And then a last little flourish is some fresh mint from my garden. So just give it that nice little green pop in the center. And voila, we have strawberries and cream crepe cake. This is a recipe that I get asked to make all the time. In fact, I made a video off of this because people wouldn't leave me alone about making this over and over again after they had gotten a taste of it. So if you enjoy it, that cream cheese filling is not even a standard cream cheese filling. It's lighter than a standard cream cheese frosting, and it just has such a good, unique flavor to it. The crepes and the strawberry and all of those decadent layers just really come together in such a fantastic way.